Colorado Avalanche and any sort of potential hangover that they might have after hoisting the Stanley Cup on Sunday night, less than 48 hours ago. And Mike, when you look at their offseason, lots of important decisions for Joe Sakic and the Avs front office to make. And I include Chris McFarland in that conversation as well, because I think he's going to be at the top of team shortlist in the very near future to join them as a potential GM. I wonder if there are potential changes afoot in the Avs front office. Does Joe Sakic, the rumblings are that Joe Sakic could go up to a president's type role and Chris McFarland could be promoted to GM. We'll see what unfolds over the next days and weeks. But when you look at this long list of pending UFAs and a couple important RFAs, including the game-winning goal scorer in Game 6, Arturi Lehkonen, who would you prioritize on this list?
First one is definitely Lehkonen to me. He's an RFA, which makes it a little bit easier, Frank, and I think that that's going to get done almost no matter what. You don't trade for that player without making sure you can grab him down the road, especially with what he did in the playoffs and his age. But I think realistically, you look at this list and think you need to get a goaltender. You already have Darcy Kemper in-house. So my guess is that the Avalanche will probably stick with him. I'm thinking, depends on dollars, but beyond that, I would really want to keep Kadri. Having that number 2 center that performed as well as Nazem Kadri did this year in the regular season and the playoffs, it's not going to come cheap, Frank. But our own Chris Geary even outlined how it's possible for Colorado to potentially be able to keep Nazem Kadri. They've got a little bit over $25 million in cap space, but it's going to go very quickly. And Frank, I think the biggest question for me is when you look at Burakovsky and Nichushkin, who both need deals, they're going to probably both be over $500. You kind of look at them and go, does one of those two not come back? Or does Joe Sakic and company consider even trading a Sam Girard with a $5 million cap hit to try to open up space? When I look at it, Frank, I can't help but think that either Burakovsky, Nichushkin, or Girard, one of those three, is probably not coming back with salary cap constraints. If they can pull that off to be able to keep all three of those players, that would be kind of a minor miracle in my eyes. But that would be my pecking order. I think Kadri is really a key for them in the UFAs.
Yeah, I agree. If I could just make a few sort of bold predictions right off the cuff based on what I saw, based on the projected contracts, and based on where I think it's heading, my guess would be that Kemper doesn't come back. Same thing with Josh Manson. Same thing with Burakovsky and Nichushkin, that they find a way to keep Kadri. And then they also re-sign Arturi Lehkonen. Kadri's going to be expensive, do a big raise, but I think he wants to stay there and win. He's also the oldest of the group, already at age 31. Josh Manson, I think there's going to be lots of interest in him. I believe he's willing to take a hometown discount, actually, to go back to Anaheim. Kemper, I just think, is going to be too expensive. And when you look at the way he played in the playoffs, didn't exactly inspire much confidence. I think he collects the cup and moves on in free agency. I think he's looking for something around $5 million, $5.5 million a year times some term. This is the big contract for him in his career. He's got to take advantage at this point, especially after winning the Stanley Cup this year.